Major sports figures have been hitting back hard against the president's criticism of the NFL and the NBA. Football Commissioner Roger Goodell says divisive comments like these demonstrate an unfortunate lack of respect for the NFL, our great game, and all of our players. But Trump tweeted, if a player wants the privilege of making millions of dollars in the NFL or other leagues, he or she should not be allowed to disrespect our great American flag or country and should stand for the national anthem. If not, you're fired. Cleveland's LeBron James was less diplomatic in defending his NBA rival Steph Curry, addressing the president on Twitter as "you bum." Joining us now to analyze the coverage, Molly Hemingway, senior editor at The Federalist. Joe Trippi, the Democratic strategist, both are Fox News contributors. And Erin McPike, White House correspondent for Independent Journal Review. Molly, feels like we're in the first quarter here. Are the media cheering for Steph Curry, for Colin Kaepernick, the out-of-work quarterback who was the first last year to not stand for the national anthem, against the president?
Right. This is absolutely a newsworthy story. Anytime the president weighs in on a hot-button cultural topic, it deserves to be covered. But how it's covered is very important, too. And I think there's a large disconnect between many people in newsrooms and the average American, or many average Americans, who have been frustrated with some of these protests, who see in this a disrespect for the flag. There's quite a bit of disagreement about whether you're disrespecting the flag in this case. So it's important to make sure that the context is provided as well. And yeah, it seems pretty clear that the media are all in on one side of this.
Joe, no secret the media narrative is the president loves picking fights with people, but usually it's other pals or pundits. And perhaps he'd rather be talking about this than the fact that the health care bill is hanging by a thread. But is this different because he's taking on athletes, many of whom, like LeBron, have their own followings?
Absolutely, but look, the media is doing exactly what the president wants.
Taking the bait, you suggest?
Taking the bait, yeah, exactly. And I think, but the other thing I think the point is that you're making or asking about is correct. LeBron James is not Rand Paul or some of the other politicians he's picked fights with.
LeBron made a video, and his tweets are getting zillions of retweets.
And so that's going to get more media coverage as well. Again, probably playing right into what the president wants to have.
Is this boffo at the box office because it combines Donald Trump, politics, sports, and race?
It may be, but look, I actually want to read a comment that Steph Curry made just yesterday. He's becoming a folk hero. He wasn't even setting out to be one, but he put this in a really calm light. He said, "I don't know why he feels the need to target certain individuals rather than others. I have an idea of why, but it's kind of beneath the leader of a country to go that route. It's not what leaders do." Which was a great comment by Steph Curry. And if the media is rooting for a comment like that, it kind of makes sense because he is doing something and saying something that Donald Trump is not. He is showing more leadership, frankly, than Donald Trump has.
Well, one of the things here is that this is so tailor-made for the media. Joe, you say taking the bait because you have sports talk radio. You have local media in every market talking about their teams. For example, Robert Kraft, owner of the New England Patriots, friend of Trump, just put out a statement saying he's disappointed. And just about 90 minutes ago, let's put it up, an NFL game began in London, Jacksonville versus Baltimore. Whole lot of players either kneeling or locking arms during the playing of the national anthem. So with the president, Molly, now saying perhaps fans should not go to games if the NFL doesn't take action against these protesting players, this is going to 11.
Oh, it's definitely going to 11. And part of the thing, I think, is that we need to see this as the president picking up on some sentiment that's already out there and picking the terms that are most favorable for him. Right now, you are on one side of the debate, which is respect for the flag, respect for the national anthem, or you actually have to position yourself against those things. These are actually complicated topics. Freedom of speech is a complicated topic. Pressure for firing is a complicated topic. And we're not, I mean, I just hope that when the media are covering these things that they understand to delve deeply into those instead of having these surface discussions.
Now you have anybody like Stevie Wonder did it. Taking a knee has become the sort of shorthand for resistance to the Trump presidency, and every time a celebrity does it, doesn't even have to be an athlete anymore. That is going to get coverage. But what do you think about?
We don't have a set that lets do that.
Oh, you ready to go down on one knee? We'll get a picture of you afterwards. What do you make of Molly's point that there's a disconnect here between a large swath of the country that feels like these are over-entitled, overpaid, privileged athletes who nevertheless are disrespecting the flag, and the nation's newsrooms where there's more sympathy for peaceful protest?
Well, they are making peaceful protest, and they're protesting on behalf of people they believe don't have a voice, particularly when the President of the United States has the big voice that he has and is riling up and in a lot of ways playing to his base at the expense of the people these people are kneeling for.
Just briefly.
Look, I think people are starting to say, look, these players aren't patriotic. They're disrespecting the national anthem and the flag. They have a moment and a microphone to make a statement. And look, in all of these professional sports games, there is always a moment where teams actually pay tribute to service members that's separate from the national anthem. But these players see that there is racism going on in this country, and they think that the president is racist.
So
they are actually making a patriotic moment,
so you
I think.
Much more sympathetic to the protesters than the president on this.
Yes, I'll admit it.
I also don't think there's a tradition of this. I mean, John Carlos and Tommy Smith at the 1968 Olympics,
But what is missed?
made a
Right.
What's missed from this is people see these protests against them. They don't see it against Donald Trump. They see it against them, their service in the military, their flag. These symbols are important, and we need to have that be part of the conversation.
We're going to come back to this a little later.